Hi, welcome to Bedazzle Me. Today I want to show you how to make this really cool fountain flower cane. So if you follow me, you know that I prefer Kato, which is the brand of polymer clay that we're going to be working with. So I have this Kato blue, and then I'm putting a little bit of Kato green with it because I wanted more of an aqua turquoise color, and I didn't have that in my Kato collection. So I've done that. All I did was rolled 2 sheets of each out on my pasta machine, flattened them together, and then kind of did like a dirty Skinner blend, I guess, if you will, with it until I got this more aqua color that you can see here. Then I'm just taking some silver leaf and applying that. I wanted a little bit of meadow leaf in my project. This is totally optional. In fact, most of the fountain flower canes I've seen do not use meadow leaf, so but you could use any color that you want. I really like silver with turquoise, and so that's why I'm doing that here. So I chose to completely cover my sheet, or almost completely cover my sheet, with metal clay, because you're going to be processing this clay through your pasta machine so many times that this metal leaf is really going to be very well dispersed. So I just folded it back against itself so that the metal was on the outside, and then ran it through my pasta machine. Next, I did a Skinner by taking a small triangle of white Kato, a larger triangle of the turquoise that I had made, and then a smaller black triangle, putting them next to each other and then running them through my pasta machine, folding it down, and then putting it through the pasta machine again several more times. And you want to feed the clay through the pasta machine so that you are feeding all 3 colors in together at once, rather than the white first or the black first. And then here I'm just trimming off the excess so that I have smooth edges. So see here, I'm folding it down so that the black is on top of the black, white is on top of the white. I believe I rolled this through my pasta machine maybe 10 to 12 times. And then I'm going to feed it through my pasta machine the opposite direction now, because I want a really long ribbon. Black end first, white end last, so that I get this really long ribbon. Here's the really long ribbon. So you do this last. Then I'm going to fan this back and forth at about a little over an inch, I would say, almost 2 inches. And you want to try to line up your folds so that you're not wasting any clay. If it overlaps or you don't get it quite to the edge of your previous fold, then you're going to have to end up cutting a lot more excess off to get smooth edges when you're done. And you can see I have this line between the kind of a harder line between the white and the turquoise, and that's okay. That's not really going to come through, as you'll see. Like clumps of metal leaf. And then I'm just going to trim off the edges so that I get a really nice, even rectangle all the way around. And here I'm just smushing it together to make sure that it's nice and condensed and that I can't feel any air pockets. If you do feel any air pockets, you can just massage them out or use your tissue blade or needle tool to pop them out. If you have air pockets, it could mess up your design when you're doing a cane. They can also pop inside your oven and ruin your piece. So that's why we don't like them. Now the reason I'm putting this wax paper over the top is because my roller was not very clean when I started this project. I was too anxious to get this going. So in order to protect my project from any clay debris or paint that was on my roller, I put the wax paper down. And that protects it. Look how pretty that is. This is one of the many reasons I love doing this cane, because you just get such pretty variations of color. And you can do this with really any color that you want. The next one I've decided I want a pink one. And then first just mark. Now I want to pause for a second because I did 3, you can see I made 2 lines which created 3 little squares. I would advise you to make 3 lines, so 3 cuts making 4 pieces. You'll see in a second I go back and with the excess that I cut off, I made a 4th little stack here. But the process is essentially the same. You make your cuts nice and even, and then you're going to have these pieces that you stack on top of each other, white on black, black on white. Do 4. You're gonna have a cooler piece, a more intricate and kind of a larger piece if you do 4 stacks on top of each other, so that the white is against the black on each step. And then I'm going to reduce this using my roller, and again I put the wax paper down just to protect my project from the dirty. You can see how my roller is really pink from the cherry blossom tutorial. And then I just kind of smush it down, and then this is when I sort of decided I want to do one more. So I'm just going to take my excess clay that I trimmed off of the square plug to make the edges even, and I'm gonna put that through my pasta machine and fan it over again so that I get 4 pieces instead of just the 3 that you see here. You won't have to do this because you will have cut 4 pieces instead of the 3. Alright, so once I get this one all trimmed up and even, I'm going to, you'll see me reduce it a little bit to make sure that it's the same size as the other squares that I've already stacked on top of themselves. And then I will stack that one on top of the 3rd one. And again, you're stacking black on white or white on black. See, it was a little bit short, so I just kind of pull it out, manipulate it a little to make it a little longer. And I'm going to reduce this 4-piece square with my roller and my fingers. Okay, now if you have one of those, I don't even know what they're called, the rulers with the like glue on them or the notches on them so that it makes perfectly spaced imprints into your clay. Now is the time to use that. I don't have one of those. You can just eyeball it, doesn't have to be perfect, and I'm making 6 cuts, and I'm not going all the way through, as you can see. until you're just marking them at first, so to make sure that after you've done all 6, you take a step back and make sure that they're all even and even enough. They don't have to be perfect, and then you can slice through. So by the end you should have, is it 8? You should have 8 pieces that you cut off of the cane. Alright, now it is time to stack, and if you are a polymer clay artist like me or in the polymer clay community, you will know that what we're getting ready to make is called Bargello. It's the Bargello technique. So you're going to align your pieces, you're going to squish your pieces together, but you're going to do it unevenly. So see here how I'm going off of sort of the first white line that you see. And see how I made so that the 2 lines, they're a little jagged. Now this next one that I put should be equidistant. It should be kind of the same exact placing as I did. So the outside too should be the same placing. So you can see there that the white lines are alike except for the middle one. And then you're going to do one more going down another notch. And you want to make sure black clay up for all of these. Black clay up for all of these. And you can see here I'm aligning my first white line with the black line of the cane piece next to it. I hope that is making sense. So this is why we have videos, so you can not only hear me try to explain it, but you can see what I'm doing. And already you can sort of start to see the Bargello take place. Isn't that cool? Looks kind of like a zigzag. And then the last 2 outer ones, I go up one more. You could go down one more if you wanted to. I like this pattern the best. I might try it differently on the next, when I do my pink one, but as you can see for this particular pattern, I went up from my last piece 1 notch. Isn't that cool? So now I kind of condense this in on itself, and now we're going to start to kind of shape it. And in order to keep those patterns at the end, I'm just going to add a little bit of extra white on the white end and a little extra black on the black end. So I'm just rolling out a snake in between my palms, and then I'm gonna squish it right into where that vacuum of clay is. This will help ensure that your pattern doesn't smush against itself and get ruined, but stays intact when you start to reduce your cane. So again, I'm just filling in those, anywhere that there wasn't clay, I'm just filling those in with the white clay. And then I do the same thing with the black end. Get my black clay, roll out some snakes, and fill in those snakes in the spaces where there is no black clay. And again, this is to keep the integrity of your design, because otherwise the pieces would squish against each other and you wouldn't have the space that you're wanting to create here. The empty space would just go in on itself. So now that both ends are filled in, you can start to reduce your cane. And for this particular step, we're going to make the black end a sharp point and the white end a flat surface, so that we're essentially creating a triangle. So, you know, my cane is kind of long right now, and I want it to be a little bit shorter and longer the other way. So I want my width, the width of my cane to get longer and the height of my cane to get shorter. Now, with my thumbs, I was just showing you, now I want to try to push the width out so I get a lot more width. And you can see with my fingers, I'm just pinching the black clay so that I have a nice sharp corner. And then I kind of wiggle it out. And you want to make sure that you are constantly working on the middle, the center piece, the center part of your cane. That will help you to not have as much distortion in your pattern. I'm not that much of a perfectionist when it comes to clay. I do it just to have fun. And so I think mostly people that are selling their pieces, like more of the professional clay artists, are the ones that use cane caps. So you can see here I've skipped forward a little bit just to show you. I just kept reducing and reducing. You can see I have that nice sharp point on, I've made a triangle out of it. So I flattened the white part and then made the black part a sharp point. And then now you can see I'm pressing each against my work surface to make it nice and flat. And then I'm cutting 2 cuts equidistant apart. You can measure if you want to. I never measure. And then you should have 3 pieces. Look, isn't that so cool? This starts to become my favorite part, when you cut into it and you can see sort of the magic taking place in what you've created. So I line up as best as possible. I line up my design, making sure that the white pieces are on the outside and the black pieces are on the inside. And then you should flip your cane around. I didn't do it here, but you should flip your pieces around to make sure both sides are lined up, not just the side I just showed you. And then you're gonna keep reducing this even further. So again, we want the width to grow and the height to shrink. And keep working on the middle out. That will save you from waste and protect the integrity of your pattern the best. And in reducing this part, you're keeping the pattern, the shape, this sort of half of a octagon. No, is it octagon? Whatever, you get my point. We're keeping the integrity of the shape. We're just making the width longer and the height smaller. And then you're just going to cut right in the middle. And now you have your 2 halves. So then you're going to put them together, and again, try to line them up as carefully as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you're pretty much done. Obviously you have to reduce it and make this a little bit more round. So that's pretty much the cane. So if you just came here to learn about the cane, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. If you want to see some pieces that I made with the cane, so For the first piece, I cut, after I finished reducing my cane, I just cut 4 pieces out of it with my tissue blade, and then I took the largest round cutter in this 24 piece set and to use that on my slices to make sure it was nice and round in the shape that I want. Now I'm taking silver eye pens and just putting 2 bins in them and pressing them into one of my round slices and another slice on top of it. And then obviously you do this twice if you want 2 earrings. And then I'm just kind of cleaning up my edges. You'll see in a minute I'm gonna start, I pinch the edges. And then here I am making my other eye pen, just 2 bins in it. Putting the bins in it helps keep it secure inside the clay. It'll make sure that it doesn't just slip right out. It'll have more space, more clay to hold on to inside the in between the 2 pieces. So it'll have less of a tendency to just slip right out of its little encasing that we make with the clay. So here are the 2 pieces. So now I'm just going to clean up my edges. I'm going to pinch my edges together all the way around on both pieces. This helps to ensure that they are definitely stuck together without really disrupting the cane pattern, as well as just kind of giving them a more finished look. And then once I was done with those, I set those aside. And now it's time to turn to our Mary Joy Coleman cutters. These cutters are number 21 on her website, Oh Joy Creations. These are the bracelet bead cutters, the hourglass and the, I think she calls it oblong square or something. But it's number 21 on her website. And I cut out 2 more pieces with my tissue blade from my cane, and then used her cutters to cut these 2 pieces that you see here. Just like with the earrings, where I cut out 2, stacked them against each other with an eye pin in the middle, these the same way. So I cut out 2 hourglasses and 2 oblong squares, and then put eye pins in between them, stuck them on, smushed them on top of each other. And then for the round beads, just 1 slice off of my cane, and then rolled some scrap clay in between my palms to make a little ball, and then wrapped the little ball of scrap clay, wrapped that with a slice from my cane. And here are my finished products. I just ended up putting ear hooks on the earrings and made this necklace and strung it all together, and that's it. So I had so much fun doing this. This is such a cool project. If you decide to do this project, please leave me some photos in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!